President and the Secretary of State Colin Powell are also pressing Russia for help in the war on terrorism. CNN State Department correspondent Andrea Koppel joins us now to pick up that part of the story. Andrea?
Wolf, when it comes to dealing with terrorism, the United States and Russia are literally reading from the same page. As one Russian diplomat told me earlier today, unlike American citizens, Russians have been dealing with acts of terrorism in Russia for years.
Putting disagreements aside for the moment, the Russian foreign minister made clear to President Bush their countries are on the same side in a war against a common enemy, terrorism.
Even as we speak, the exchanges of information are underway related to the activities of different extremist and terrorist organizations, including in Afghanistan.
A country the Russians know all too well. In the 1980s, Soviet troops fought Afghanistan's Mujahideen in an unsuccessful grab for control of the country. Hoping to capitalize on that experience, the Bush administration is looking for Russian cooperation in a number of areas to share its knowledge in the mountainous, rugged terrain of Afghanistan, to provide intelligence on Osama bin Laden, his terrorist network, and the Taliban militia in Afghanistan. The U.S. also wants Russia to use its influence with countries like Iran and Syria to end what the U.S. claims is state-sponsored terrorism, and to support U.S. efforts to convince former Soviet republics in Central Asia, including Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, to join this international campaign against terrorism. A senior State Department official said Foreign Minister Ivanov told Secretary Powell Russia would not stand in the way of cooperation between the U.S. and Central Asia. And in exchange for all this help, what do the Russians want? According to Secretary Powell, nothing.
We talked about all of these items, as we always do. Missile defense, ABM, Chechnya, but they presented no linkages between that and the current incident.
But what Russia says it does want, Wolf, is to eradicate terrorism, even if it means using force. But so far, Russian officials say that the Bush administration hasn't asked it to participate in any kind of military operation, or for that matter, to even think about perhaps sending Russian troops back into Afghanistan, Wolf.
Andrea, Secretary Powell had another visitor at the State Department today, Saud al-Faisal, the foreign minister of Saudi Arabia. Where do the Saudis fit into this current coalition building effort?
Well, as you know, Saudi Arabia is a moderate Arab state and is really a critical player in building Arab support and Muslim support around the world for this international coalition. And while publicly you're hearing positive statements, privately as well, we're hearing at least one Saudi diplomat told me they're 100% behind the U.S. But when you listen to the foreign minister in just a moment, you'll hear him essentially say that the U.S. must proceed with caution.
We can't fight terrorism by becoming vengeful. We can fight terrorism by being clear-headed, to identify the guilty and pursue them mercilessly until we bring them to justice.
Reading between the lines here, Wolf, what Foreign Minister Faisal is saying is that he's really concerned that President Bush is a relatively inexperienced president in foreign policy. Someone from Texas is going to move ahead like a Texas gunslinger and start firing away before countries like Saudi Arabia are able to prepare their people for the fact that this is not a war against Islam, it's a war against terrorism, Wolf.
Andrea Koppel at the State Department, thank you very much.